All right, we are going to attack this orange project because I've had enough. I've got to get it done, and we're going to start right after this. Welcome back. If you haven't seen my videos before, I'm Ross the Oliver Man. Here we got the old 200 ALLIS CHALMERS. It's been here for 2 months. And a lot of that was because of personal things going on with me. I wasn't able to complete it. But we got to get it done. The weather's not too bad today. Of course, it's almost out of daylight again. But we can turn on the lights in here and keep going. We just had to find a place to stop. And so I'm going to put on a valve cover gasket and do some stuff on that side and then call her quits. And then we're just going to have to tackle the rest next time. What I would like to do here now is, well, I guess first let's start with, I got the cab tightened down again. I got the fuel line all zip tied up in places. I need to go back through and trim off the tails. Makes it look a little nicer. So that whole end should be done. This last time we worked on the fuel, I think we got that fuel leak stopped. It's still dry under here, so that's a good thing because it would always leak and it was wet everywhere because I don't think that filter had been changed in many, many years. So that's good. It's got new fuel line there. New plunger button we did last time. So my plan is here, I want to tighten up the floor and then I want to take the hood off. And then I want to see if I can get it started, take it up, and try to wash off all this garbage before I even start, because there is so much built up in places, and I can't get to it all with the hood on, and plus the hood's got to come off for the valve cover gasket anyway. So if I can make that happen, that would be dandy. And, of course, I don't have the correct tools now, so I'm just going to... I will probably finish those by hand, but... just to spin them down, you know. All I have is the 1/2 inch impact. We'll finish tighten by hand there. I don't want to give it all the ugga-duggas. I think I did already, but just a few ugga-duggas with this big one is the same as many ugga-duggas with the little one. All right. So that's done. That piece stays. This triangle piece we'll leave off right now. I'll take it out of here so it doesn't get all scratched worse than it is. Those little cab windows wreak havoc on those. But we will now try to get this hood off, which is a real thrill, friends. There's 2 bolts on each side of the back. There's a bolt to this wing. There actually used to be more, but a lot of times, yeah, they only put 1 back in because it's a pain to get them loose. Same story up here. Hopefully there's just 1 bolt there on each side. Then you take the grill off and there's bolts behind there. We can just pop that off right now. Got to be gentle with this. A good one is hard to find, you know, and that one appears to still be the metal one. The repos you get are fiberglass. Huh, of course, you know. Why would we expect any less? See, these later ones had a little door, so you could just easily get this out of there somehow. But we did not. What's that say? 2010? I kind of feel like maybe I ought to just go ahead and do that too whilst I'm at it. I mean, I don't have one. Oh, that's the top. That is important because there's somehow there's like a cutout or something and it lets the air circulate the right way. I don't know. So that bolt comes out, which consequently also is what this cooler hangs on. So then we'll have to put them back in so we can move it. Take the air hose off. The muffler has to come off, but yeah. And then, and then the wires to the voltage regulator are not exactly, what I'm saying is the voltage regulator stays with the hood. And of course it's not wanting to play nice. I don't remember if I did this one or not. I don't think I did. I'm pretty sure it was that other one that we worked on in the frigid cold winter time. Man, I just can't win for nothing. I don't want to come out of there. There. Now we're going to take this loose, which that's probably 3/8. All right. Do I have enough tools this time? Okay, it is on one end 3/8 and the other end is 7/16, which is kind of what I was thinking. That the bolts that actually are supposed to be in there had 3/8 heads. However, this one obviously was not holding or something because of the extra watch-a-me. There ain't no room to get in there. Really should have a socket. I'm betting that these are kindly messed up. Oh, good. It's a fork. We don't have to take it all the way loose. The rest of this nonsense, I'm gonna have to get a ratchet, I guess. I thought that I could get them with wrenches, but I think it's easier with a... What are the chances that I got the right stuff right here? Really good if you don't consider the fact that this got rusty. Okay. Righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. This is the most difficult one to get to on this side, so I decided to start with it, you see. And it's probably still not loose enough that I could get it by hand, is it? It's all because there is a, like one of those ether start assist things, and they put it right here. And you can't quite get in there. So, yeah. So we gotta struggle, is what I'm saying. But we're on the downhill slide, I think. I think the one more thing I need to do is make sure I tighten those 4 bolts that do the cab to the transmission, and then the 2 in the front, because I didn't get those, I don't think. Also, it's cool to note that this thing went rolling, hit my piece of cardboard, and totally rolled off the other end, so that's great too. All right, plug through, that's my theme here. I have to try, no matter how rotten I feel or whatever, just get this done. Well, sure, these 2 should come out easy. I bet I'm gonna have to stop and get us the extension cords and hook up the lights, because it's starting to look kindly dark, isn't it there, friend? Also, that means I'm gonna have to take the battery charger off the 4150, because I think that's where my long extension cord is. Because if you haven't followed the saga, this building doesn't have electric in it right now, because way back at whatever point it got where the wires got tore down on one of the buildings, so I just had it disconnected so I could work on it, and then I never got it hooked back up again. It's as far as the grain bin, and that's it. So one of these days, that will be my project now too. Because because there's going to be some severe tree trimming before that goes back up, so that that wire is not in the middle of a tree like it has been for the last years. There's going to be a lot of tree trimming around here. It wasn't worth the argument, if you know what I mean. Granddaddy didn't want anything trimmed at all, zero. And I wanted stuff trimmed out of the way of electric lines and things. And it just wasn't worth the argument anymore, so I just left it go. But now, I'm in charge, so I'll do what I want. And this one, I think you have to do with 2 wrenches, because you can't get, or can you? Is there enough room to get the socket back in there? Maybe. Well, this ain't working very good. Yeah, remember, these are the ones we gotta put right back in here in a minute. Whenever we get the hood off, we need to be able to hold that cooler up so it's mobile. See, I want this done so I can put my 1855 back in the shed. Tired of it sitting outside for somebody else's stuff. That's the way it is with a lot of my stuff. It's time to start playing tractor Tetris and putting stuff away. And also deciding what stuff we should just probably sell and get out of our lives. Because I've just about had enough. There's just too much crap around here. Now we're going to try for muffler. I have no idea what feels just like a regular muffler clamp they got on here. And it's actually coming loose, so that's a good first step. Is my ratchet slipping? No, it's just turning easy. That's that's unbelievable that it actually will cooperate. Okay, come up there. Oh. Well, friends, I'm a-thinking we'll have to gander and see. That might actually be a problem. That might be the whole reason that the underneath of the hood is totally covered with garbage. It might be because this muffler is rotted through right in the important spot. So, when we have the hood off, we're going to have to check that, because if it's not, we're going to have to get him a muffler, which I hate to do, because that muffler looks fine. Otherwise, we'll have to check underneath. But if it's not going to seal up, that's what's causing a lot of the blackness that was up here around the turbo, because it's filthy. When you see it, I mean, the turbo is filthy. So now, what we need to do, we need to get that hose clamp loose on the air filter. And I think that's the last thing that holds our hood on. And then we can take it off and slide it out of the way. And then we'll try to get it started and take it up and wash it. I should probably go ahead and put a battery on the charger right now first, because I'm afraid we're going to run out in the pressure washer if I don't do that. So I'll bring you back here in a minute. All right, that's more better with light. However, it's not going to be more better to reach that, because it's back in there. I'm not even sure how to let you see it. What's going to happen? The way it's positioned, it's just not quite in either one of the two axes. I was hoping that if I loosened it, I could push it back a little bit. Flexible dryer hose, huh? I don't know if that was original or not, but whatever. Now the fun task is all by myself to try to get this hood off of here and safely out of the way. And that is not easy. It really works better with 2 people, but I ain't got 2 people. So I gotta be very careful since it is painted. Gotta be very careful and get it off there. Also, it's tapered, so you can't just pull it forward, you gotta lift up. That's the next adventure in this. Oh, another fun thing. I forgot. There is a baffle in here, isn't there? What is this? I don't quite remember that on the other one. Why is that in there? Boys, I don't know what's in this hood, but I sure don't remember that on the other one. And that's gonna make it a total pain, because to get it away from under the cab, I gotta go pretty well straight up. It may not be doable by myself. Well, Knudsen. I'm not thinking. I got an idea. But I gotta get my piece of wood. Alright. Not to be detoured, one way or another, it's gonna work. See, if I use that as a ramp, I might be able to put that hood out of there. And if I can't, I might be able to use it to hold the hood up enough that I can get this air pipe out of the way whilst, yeah. See, that's what's getting me now. It's next to impossible because the back of your hood is hitting this, and this baffle, or whatever that is hitting this air tube, which I just don't remember that air tube. It's so close. It should come out of there, but again, I think that if I had another person, I could probably make it happen. But it's looking like that ain't gonna happen, and I'm probably just gonna have to work around this piece of wood. I don't think that's even possible. Also, I noticed that I have not done one apparently that had an air conditioner on it this way, which means I'm going to have to take all of that bracketry loose to do this. And again, this simple project is just fighting me every step of the way, and I'm over it. I'm going to take a break here for a minute and let's stick the bolts back in this. If I do this, at least this will stay. Consequently, this is a very expensive oil cooler, and Dad's started leaking, and I experimented with other things, and I could not get one that would work correctly. They would work for several days, and then finally it would blow and start leaking. So, I don't know. Don't know what the problem was. Oh, jeez. I mean, it just gets worse every single time I mess with it. His radiator's leaking, I can tell. I mean, what do we want to do, friends? Now, I would almost bet that this radiator is leaking. I'd be very surprised if it wasn't. Right at that seam, by the way it looks. But what do I know? I can clean that up real good and run it and see. Maybe it's just a coincidence that that area there is, I don't know. Where is my stopping point? That's what I'm trying to find out. Every time I do something to this, it gets worse and worse and worse. I'm so frustrated at myself for not getting this done sooner, and it just keeps biting me in the behind every time, every step of the way. About the only thing I can come up with now is to take this air band or air tube loose and try to get it out of the way, get the hood off, and then I'll put it back on to run it. Because I just don't think I can get that physically out of there. I mean, at least not by myself. So frustrating, you know. So frustrating. There, that's all it took. I'll get it now. Wow, what a pain. I had to have that extra room though to get this out of there. I need to hook it back up though now so it doesn't get trash in it while I wash this off. But geez, look at this. Anything and everything could be leaking on this. And I just don't know where to stop. The turbo might be junk, and it might just be the rubber on this pressure feed line, and it might be that he needs a new turbo. The radiator might be leaking. We won't know till we clean it up, but that sure looks like signs of radiator leakage as far as I know them to be. It could just be that, I mean, it could be leaking here. It could be leaking there. It could be leaking everywhere. I'd say the valve cover's leaking back around the back and also around the front. That's why I wanted to do this, but I didn't realize the depth of terribleness until I took that triangle piece off the other day. And it's just, this is just insane. I mean, it's got a bad leak somewhere. I don't think it's all coming from the exhaust, although a lot of it could be, I guess, if it made stuff wet under there and the dust got in. But we're gonna have to get it up there and wash it off so that maybe we can, you know, figure out where our journey is gonna take us. But we gotta get this done. He's waiting on it. But if there's more major stuff done, then I'm just gonna have to tell him, you know, do you want it fixed right while we got it apart, or do you want to have to keep screwing with it every time? I mean, but see, like I said, I just don't know where to stop. I almost want to replace every line I can get to, because they just all look like they're, it's hard to tell maybe on camera because some of them have been painted over, but when you start getting the paint off and look at them, the rubber is just deteriorated. And I mean, are those leaking? I don't know. I'll be able to tell now probably better since this is off, but I don't know. I'm trying to do a good job. It is my fault that it's taken so long, but it's not my fault that it's in such the shape that it's in. That's just from years. It's not really his fault either. It's just until something starts leaking noticeably on the ground or whatever, a lot of people just don't take stuff off and check and see how it is. You know, this is not an easy panel to get off necessarily. Yeah, it's 3 bolts. If it was from the factory, it'd be 6 bolts, and then it would be a lot more difficult to get off. But most people would not take the time to take something like this off to look in and see. They just look here and think, ah, it's kind of dirty, but no big deal. So, I don't know, but I'm going to try to get this going so I can wash it, and I guess that's where I'm going to leave this one. You didn't get a lot of action other than putting one panel on and taking the hood off, but I've got over an hour of footage already, so it's got to stop somewhere, and that's where this one's going to. I will let you hear it run again. I figured out what the problem was. on the, when I took that front cab bolt loose, the ground is not hooked. The cables are not hooked around that bolt. They're hooked right behind it to the cab, and I guess when I disturbed that bolt, I didn't get a good ground, so I got it out, cleaned on it a little bit, tightened her up good, and then it fired right up. So that's where my problem was. There we go. That answers one problem. That's pretty dramatic. Now for the other 50 problems. That's a best case scenario there, because that little piece of rubber is a lot cheaper than a turbo. And if he's lucky, maybe that's the thing that was leaking enough that covered everything. That's a pretty aggressive leak though, so I'm amazed that he didn't run her out of stuff. But anyway, I'm gonna try to get this washed up, and then we'll work on it more in the next one. As always, if you enjoy my videos, give them a thumbs up. Leave a comment and tell me how dumb you think I am. Or, if by some slim chance you liked it, say that. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.